I ran into my friend Corey one day, and he said he had a 1964 Cadillac in his garage that he wanted to get out of there. I was tired of looking at it. So I went over and took a look at it, and pretty solid car. No interior inside and no back window. He had a replacement glass, and so with some help from my friend TJ, we got it loaded up and headed over to our friend Ryan's shop, where I was able to get messing with it and managed to get it running. Once I got it running, noticed it had a little bit of a lean to it. Couldn't get the brakes bled, but managed to get the rear window installed in the car and decided to drive it home through the neighborhood without front brakes. After cruising it through the neighborhood with no front brakes, nice and slow, I managed to get it home, parked it there in front of the 63 panel truck of mine. Both these vehicles are about 20 feet long. I wanted to see them next to each other. As you see, it's a pretty nice car. My son helped me wash it, and then my daughter, she came along and started helping out as well. So car looks real nice when it's wet. It is missing some clear coat on the car, unfortunately, but overall pretty solid, pretty nice car, not much rust on it. The plan is pull it in the shop, put it on the lift, and start tearing it down to start bagging it. As you'll see here in a second, started getting it to tuck the front end pretty well by replacing the springs, putting airbags in it. You'll see here that it's got the wheel tucked up pretty nice there. I'm going to walk you through that here in just a second. And then on the rear, got it tucking pretty much all of the drum, which is pretty good, so that way she'll sit nice and low. So here we go. Here's how I basically did it. All right, Caddy update. So what we got going on the Caddy, got new brake line, new wheel cylinder inside, all new brake pads. We got the rear here, we got the airbag welded, the plate welded on, and we got our upper cups. Ran the line up through into the trunk. All right, these came from I believe I bought these from Twisted Images. Phil at Twisted Images, good guy. Under here, I did not replace the bushings yet. Probably should. I'm just going to try to get it on the road for now and then maybe come back to the bushings. Everything on the front got replaced, but these are not as easily available. You can order them. It's like $500 for the whole rear end to rebuild everything, so might come back to that. New shocks, of course, so suspension should be pretty nice. Other thing I was doing was I found I was putting a new steel line back in the car. The previous owner ran a rubber line from the gas tank all the way back. While I was doing that, I found a little Edelbrock fuel pump, and I wanted to move it back by the gas tank, so I welded up this little bracket you can see there. So our fuel pump will mount up there, and then I'll redo the lines coming out of the tank to the pump and then back forward. All right, so I'll make that a little bit nicer, a little safer. Moving forward, we have the bag pocket. All right, pocketed the spring perch there, or not perch, but the spring pocket, so that way the airbag will not rub. Just got done relocating the shocks onto the tension rod here. So we had to weld in a new bracket to put our shock up in there. All right, going for a disc brake conversion. Also welded on the lower control arms. Added these plates. I actually added a part of a pipe to add some more reinforcement underneath here. Want to make sure it's nice and strong. Went with a disc brake kit on the front, so I thought I was going to do all that. By the way, put all new bushings, new bushings. Everything on the front end is all new. But ran into a couple problems. The disc brake kits were not cheap, and I shouldn't say that. They were online, they're like $500 to $700, which isn't bad, but then they wanted like several $100s for shipping. So me being an idiot, I'm like, oh, I can just get this stuff myself. So because all this stuff is off the shelf Cadillac or GM stuff. And so I did order a bracket kit. I think it was from CCP or something like that. and I ordered this bracket kit. Well, I ran into a couple problems. I could not get enough space in to get a cotter pin through the spindle, and I definitely wanted to put a cotter pin on it so that way we don't lose a wheel going down the road. So the solution to the problem ended up being I had my neighbor machine the head of this bolt down a little bit, and then also, let's see where I put it, the spacer. It came with a spacer that goes on your spindle. It's got a beveled edge, and it comes in here and it spaces the rotor out slightly. What I found was that the basically this spacer needed about half the thickness it came in order to allow the rotor to come in some to where I can then put a cotter pin in it. So now we got our spacer machine down. All right, in case you run into that problem if you're doing a caddy. All right, so now I got my spacer machine down, got all this other hardware. I need to double check, make sure everything's tight. So we're ready to go back together on this side. I'm ready to put the grease everything up, put the rotor on, final assembly on that, get the airbag in. Had to drill a hole for the airline, got new brake rubber lines, new calipers, everything's new brake wise parts. I had to make some new rubber steel lines here because this fitting did not fit into the old fitting, did not match the new brake line. So ideally this thing should run and drive pretty nice, since literally everything on the front end is brand new shocks, all new bushings, new airbags, new lines, and have disc brakes. I do have to put a new master cylinder in it, and I do have some tie rods and stuff I'm going to put on as well, so that way all that is new. And finish up, this is our rubber line for our fuel line that I was replacing. So I got that, I got to run an airline, and then hopefully this sucker will be on the ground. But been up in the air way longer than it should have been, but we're getting there, getting some progress on it. So yeah, it was supposed to be up on the lift for about a couple weeks, and it ended up being up there for about 6 months. So here's how it looked when I got it on the ground. You see it's nice and level. Pretty happy with the front end there. Sits good. Another shot. Barn's still a mess, as always. And we'll go down to a rear shot, see it's tucking most of the white wall, and then give you a nice side profile shot. I'm pretty happy with it. It's basically laying on the frame. There is a muffler kind of underneath the front doors that was put on there before I bought the car, and it's kind of laying on that and the frame at the same time, so it can't really go any lower. Another nice side profile shot. I pulled it outside, even though I don't have all the air ride down in the trunk. Pulled it out just enough so I can get a good picture of it outside. Pretty happy with it. Sits nice and low. But unfortunately, I did try to drive it down the road and ran into another problem, which is going to be for another video. So I wanted to thank you for watching the Cadillac intro video, and there's more to come of this project.